Hello and welcome back to Growing with Sewing. My name is Bryton Zoz. If you aren't familiar with what this series is, it's essentially where we take a 12-piece designer collection and we turn it into reality through this series where we become a better creator through our various garments and prototypes. So today we're going to be trying to take on a t-shirt prototype. We haven't done a t-shirt before, so this is going to be our first time taking on a t-shirt. We have our designs here, but learning from our past experiences in episode 1 and 2, we already learned a few things that we're going to be going from the get-go. Like, we already dyed our material before we even began the episode so that we can just go straight in and can get it done in a singular day, and you'll see the sunrise right behind me at the end of the video. So with this t-shirt, how we did in the first 2 episodes, we're going to break down this t-shirt. We have a slim, medium Amazon Essentials t-shirt here, and we're essentially going to be taking the measurements of this and we're going to be duplicating it onto our design. So our design that we're going to be doing here today, I'm curious, if I bring it like right here, can you see that? Okay, so these are our designs. Or instead of doing 3 layers, because I only have 3 colors, we're gonna be doing 2 layers. There's gonna be a dark layer, medium layer, and a tan layer. So this design isn't too far away from what we had with the Loopless hoodie. The Loopless hoodie took on a similar pattern, but with this one, it's not gonna have any pockets on the front. All the pockets that are on the outside are gonna be purely decorative. None of them are gonna have a function. Because we're already familiar with how these designs work, and we've been kind of freeballing the first 2 episodes, we're just gonna continue on that path, and we're not even gonna use the notebook this time. So we're gonna get started by taking this t-shirt and breaking it up into 4 pieces, I believe. I may be wrong, there might be more pieces than just 4. But we're gonna go start by breaking this up to see how many pattern pieces we need. And after this piece is broken up, then we'll have a true understanding of what pattern pieces we're gonna need to cut out. And hopefully we can get it all assembled in one foul swoop. So we're just gonna go ahead and start by cutting off the little pieces up here. So I'm just gonna cut to when I have this done, just so we can, smooth along the process. When we're looking at this, we have 5 pieces, so meaning that there's going to be 7 pattern pieces to be able to make this t-shirt in total. 2 that we're going to be adding for the loop parts. We're also going to be adding an additional one, so that's going to bring it up to 8 for the waistband, because this waistband was sewn on. The first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to cut out the pieces that we need to make the body, because we already have all the pieces dyed, it's just going to be super simple to cut the pieces, put them together, and then after we get the first pieces together, then we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to the decorative pieces second. We're going to go grab our tan material, we're going to go trace out our patterns, and then we're going to cut it, sew it together, and then we're going to move on to the decorative pieces. So we have our fabrics here. In episode 1 and 2, we dyed these in the middle of the episode. But with this one, we dyed them before we even recorded the episode so that we can come in and we can just cut, sew, and we're done with the garment. So with this one, we only are cutting out 6 pieces with it. We're gonna cut out the front, we're gonna cut out the back, we're gonna cut out the 2 sleeves, and then if this one gets a collar around here, and then a waistband. And on this one, because we used a medium extra slim, I'm gonna give these like an inch or 2 of extra headroom, and we also cut these a little bit inside what we were actually supposed to. Those are our patterns. We're just gonna cut those out, sew them together, and that's a t-shirt. All right, so now that we have our 6 pieces here that are gonna make up our body, we're just gonna start constructing. Once we have our body together, then we're gonna cut the additional pieces. So we gotta make the loopless part after we construct the body. So very similar to how we were doing with the sweatshirt. We're gonna attach here on the shoulders first, and then we're gonna attach the sleeves, these arms, and then we're gonna stitch this part up together, and then that will make the body in itself. So once we have that together, then we're gonna start cutting the other pieces, and then we can start putting them all together. The front piece and the very back piece of the garment are gonna be the first ones that are gonna be sewn together. We're just taking these stitches right here, and we're gonna take those each side to make a cape that just sits over us. I think my favorite part, putting on that first stitch, because once you got that first stitch on, then everything else just kind of starts adding to it. That's the first layer. So we got one sleeve on that. Now it's starting to look more like a t-shirt. So let's do the other sleeve now. The sleeves look like this. They're very simple. They just kind of look like a little bump, and they fit right in this hump. I'm just gonna do this one the same exact way. Okay, when we flip it inside out and we pull it taut, there is going to be one line all the way down the side, and we're just stitching that line like that, so then it just goes flat on top of each other. When we're looking at the very edge of the bottom of the t-shirt or the arms of the hoodie or even here, those cloths are oftentimes folded into each other. To replicate that same effect on each of the sleeves, is we're just going to take this and we're going to fold it once on the inside, and we're going to stitch that line like that. I'm gonna go one more time on the very inside of that line. All right, so now that that looks like that, I'm just gonna take these sides, gonna take it like that, and just go straight all the way down, following this line. I freehanded that shit. Who else you know who can make that shit look as good as me freehanded? All right, now we're just gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I don't know if y'all can tell, but I make a lot of mistakes, and oftentimes I cut those out just to kind of convey the point that I'm trying to convey, which is I'm getting better at it and I'm not perfect, but sometimes I just want to be super real where I'm like, yeah, I do make a ton of mistakes on this. Sometimes when I make a mistake, I don't even include it in the cut, is I'm just cutting the threads, going back, trimming the piece so that it meets where these new pieces meet. So now I'm just gonna go through, because I cut off the shoulder piece because one side was longer than the other because I accidentally put it on wrong. So in order to fight out that imbalance, I'm just cutting off the other side so that each side are equal. So when I attach everything at the end, it's all equal and it just looks like a normal t-shirt. It doesn't look like there's any imbalances. The only difference is that the shape, or the overall shape of the garment is different, but because of how everything is built together, you can hardly even tell that it's different. So here we have the body to the t-shirt, the base of the t-shirt. Before we measure this out, let me actually get a fit on this real quick. See how well this fits now. So with this, now that we have the measurements for how this fits our body, we're able to actually measure out how the loops are gonna fit onto this. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our canvas material right now, set this down, and so that we can get the measurements for that, cut it out, and then we should have all the pieces to put it together. So let's go ahead and get that done now. God, this shirt is a pain in the ass to take off, holy shit. This material isn't the best for any type of clothes. Yeah, after I run out of material here, I'm just gonna start using like normal cotton and stuff. Because as cool as doing this out of a canvas type material is, I don't know if that's necessarily the move. So I made a mistake when I was dyeing the pieces, and somehow, some way, they ended up almost identically the same color. They're almost near the exact same. Holy sh**. These have been drying for the most of the time while we've been creating the body of the t-shirt. And when I took these out, this was near pitch black, and this was a lighter brown. Somehow they both dried the same exact color. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. We're gonna take the diameter, which is the base, so around 21.5, which means that it's 42, 43. So we're gonna add 50% to that. So if it's 43 inches and a half all the way around, we're gonna add 50%, meaning that it is gonna be 64.5 inches. So let's round down to 60 inches. So we're gonna start at our lowest point at 60, because I have it where it's gonna be one continual loop, but I'm gonna do like we did on the first one where we're gonna do overlapping loops. This first piece here, I'm just gonna start at the very corner like this, like right at the corner. So we could take this, and we're gonna go all the way up to the highest point that we can. So we're gonna go ahead and cut the first one before we cut the second one. It's gonna try and do one clean cut all the way through. That is our first looped piece. So now we're gonna cut our second loop piece, and then we can start assembling everything. We have all the pieces cut. Now it's just assembling it. This is the part that we've been waiting for. This is it. We've been doing it. We did it. We're just gonna start pinning it. We're gonna start sewing them together. So the first order of operations straight through. So we're gonna take the shirt, we're gonna put it to the side. We're gonna be working on the loops right now. So let me grab my pins. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna pin these two pieces together. These are the pieces that are gonna make the loopless t-shirt loopless. Essentially, they just kind of stack on top of each other, and then they go around the base of the hoodie. But I'm gonna go ahead and set this down flat. We're gonna take these pins and we're just gonna attach them to the bottom section. So attaching this bottom line. So let's get that done now. We're sewing down that line. So now that we have that piece on, so the first thing that we're gonna do here is the piece on top, I'm just gonna go out and I'm gonna outline the entire shape of it. That's gonna do two things. That's gonna allow this to remain in shape because sometimes these layers can fray, and it's gonna also attach it to this back piece. So then when we go through, I'm just gonna go through on these larger pieces and then attach just one piece onto it instead of one piece, then one piece. It makes it a whole bunch easier when we're actually thinking about the design of the garment. So we're just gonna go ahead and attach this piece right here. So then it's all one piece on top of each other. This one doesn't need to be pinned down just because of the way that it's being held on. And there's not really a way for me to show this. I can like dangle it down. I can do it upside down. I can show it upside down. Yeah. So now that we have that part done, which to be honest, that's the difficult part. Take our t-shirt here. So we can kind of start to line up where these go. So it starts there, it folds over. So I'm gonna hold it upside down so you can see. That's the front, and then that's the back. Before we attach the loops on this, we have two pieces for this. One is the collar, one is the waistband. So for collars and waistbands, we're just gonna fold them in half, and then this is gonna be our collar. And we're not taking them all the way to the end, maybe about here, so we can have this little bit hanging off. This is kind of the point that we want, so we can bring them back and connect itself. So let's go ahead and do that for these two, and then make those loops. So that's our collar right there. I'm just gonna set this to the side. So we're just gonna do the same thing on this one then. It's our waistband for the t-shirt. That's our collar there. Turn it inside out. And I'm just gonna go for it. So now that we have the collar on, you can see it kind of wants to flip in on the outside like that. So in order to stop it from doing that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it out like this, and then we're gonna put it in the sewing machine, and we're gonna sew along this line, causing that to go straight. It should make this go straight on all of it, and it just would stand up. That's kind of the idea. I don't know if that's gonna happen. That's what I think is gonna happen. That's what it looks like after. So you can kind of see that it now holds itself up. Wow, that really looks good on the back. Okay, so now we're left with three pieces, and the order of operations on this is real simple. We're gonna go t-shirt, loops, waistband. So let's get these done real quick, and then we can do a little recap of what we learned today. This one piece starts at the bottom right here along this seam. So this just gets attached right here and all the way around until we loop back around. So yeah, we're going from this side, and we're going all the way around with the quarter inch seam all the way around. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go along this line, and we're gonna add one stitch all the way along the piece that we already have. All right, and with that everything cut, we are about finished today with the loopless t-shirt. So let me go ahead and try it on, and then we'll kind of talk about everything that we've been through today. Here we have the loopless t-shirt. This t-shirt fits rather interesting, I will say. So in today's episode of Growing with Sewing, we have made the loopless t-shirt. We have finished it complete from the beginning to end, completely from scratch. This is a brand new t-shirt. There was nothing new added. We started with just some canvas material that we dyed into some new pieces. This is item number 3 of the collection. So now that we have this item done, the overall cost for this item today, it costs around $20 in materials. Now, we did use a little bit more materials because of how we dyed it. We dyed them before, but that allowed us to get everything done in a singular day, whereas episode 1 and 2 had to be done in a combination of 3 and 4 days. Today we started at the very beginning of the day and we ended at the sunrise. We were able to make this piece entirely in one day without any breaks at all. So with this, we're able to take a lot of notes that we learned from making this, and we're able to improve it onto the next one. The next one that we're going to be making is the loopless shorts. It's supposed to complement this. It is July, so we're trying to make the best of the warm weather. So why not spend the summer in a loopless t-shirt and some loopless shorts? Quick spin around for y'all to see. This is the design we came up with. We came up with this design on the fly. So everything that we got done today was all free-handed. There was no plans or written arrangements for this. We literally cut up a t-shirt on the spot, cut up all these pieces, dyed them, and we created this piece from scratch. If this just goes to show you that you can do it too. So with the next episode, we're gonna be diving into the loopless shorts. Again, my name is Bryton Zoz. This has been Growing with Sewing, episode 3. It's been a wonderful time, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.